So this will be one round of a flow. You can do 1 to 3 rounds a day. One round should be just about enough. 2 to 3 could be really great as well. We'll go into our prone position first. I like to slide forward so I feel my ribs get pulled down. If this is not something that's easy to do for you or doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. But again, I like to kind of slide my skin forward to get some traction, and I kind of use my toes to do that. From this position, you'll tuck the chin, pick the head up, and we're just going to do crocodile breathing with a very light head hold. So let's do 5 deep breaths here. Breathing down into here, make sure we're not like that. We've got a tucked pelvis. Grow through the crown of your head. One more big inhale, exhale. On the exhale, lift your W arms so that your hand and elbow are about 4 or 5 inches off the ground, and we're going to do 5 more deep breaths here. Long in the back of the crown. Nasal inhales through the whole session. Feel the middle shoulders pulling the arms up away from the floor. Last breath. On that exhale, go into your elbow trace. So big inhale, hold back into the W. Big exhale, reach into your elbow trace. Five rounds. Grabbing the nape of the neck. Try to keep the elbows as far from the floor as possible. And relax. Grab your dumbbells after a little breather. You can just rest your head on the ground, resituate. You can traction again and tuck the pelvis, lift the head again, W with the dumbbells. 5 repetitions trying to click the dumbbells behind us. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Last one. Press yourself up and find a wall. So we'll go from there straight into our wall position. So butt to the wall, crown to the wall. Bring the legs in nice and tight. And we're going to go into our beach arms initially. Press those elbows into the wall. Get tall through the crown. Draw your heels closer to your butt. They're not going to move. And we're going to hold here for 3 breaths. Press the elbows into the wall on the exhale. After the 3rd breath, we're going to take the elbows off the wall, grabbing the nape of the neck for 3 more breaths. This time again, try to pull your knees towards your chest and heels towards your hips as you stay really tall. If I pull these back, it usually curls the head down. So bring the chin in, attach the head to the wall, try to make yourself as tight toward the wall from toes to crown as possible. We'll go into the nape grab, and we're going to hold here. Elbows toward the ceiling, no clutter in the neck. 3 deep breaths, getting taller and tighter on the exhales. One more. Exhale, stay tall, stay tight. Hands come down. We'll pull ourselves away from the wall. We'll take the legs out a little further like so. We'll get tall through our rectangle. You can hold your hand at your waistline and your other hand at your clavicle line, and just keep your elbows parallel. And we're just gonna rock left and right. We'll go 5 times each side, keeping the triangle. Legs stay wide. You're not pushing the legs necessarily into the ground too much. If I'm over here, this leg pushes down a little. Over here, this one goes a little. But try to keep the hips as relaxed as possible and stacked as well as you can here. Pause on your left hip and reach with the right arm. Just a nice reach. Imagine if your left hip was glued to the floor and someone pulled your hand tight and taut above it. We're not out to here because then that line goes this way. We want that line to be nice and vertical. So this leg may come all the way down and press, and we'll do 3 deep breaths here. Exhale, get taller through the arm, keep space in the neck. Rocking to the other side. Right hip glued to the floor, this arm gets pulled, we keep that rectangle intact. 3 deep breaths, keep space here. Last one. And then back down. This time we'll rock over here. We'll get into our shin box. We'll come back out, rock to the right, get in our shin box, keeping integrity here. We'll do 2 of these per side. So this triangle or this rectangle comes with you. We'll do 1 more per side. So notice how it follows the knees. I'll scoot back just a little bit. We'll go into our shin box this side. From this position, we're going to go elbows down to trace this front leg. So I'll show this from the front. Down like that. From this position, we're going to go into our 90-90. So we have a bent knee. Pigeon hinge reaches. So they'll go back like I'm trying to touch this wall with this heel. And we'll do 3 pumps per side. Trying to feel some activation in the back glute tissues and see no movement in the pelvis. So keep it down, not up. And this is all fossilized in a statue. So this knee pushes down into the ground while this one moves, and it's the only thing that moves. For 3 pumps, finding the backside tissues here. Elbows down. I'm going to do 3 more. And if you can do more here, that's totally fine. And on the 3rd one, we'll hold, contract that tissue, 3 deep breaths, trying to, every exhale, try to push your heel closer to this back wall. If it's an invisible back wall for you in this flow, that's fine. You basically just want your right heel trying to reach out to my left, as if I wanted to see it with my left eye facing this way, coming out this way. Once you've got to the end range, we're going to try a float. So it should be nice and contracted, taxed. And on this next exhale, I'm going to lift my whole leg, foot, ankle up without moving the fossil trunk. So 3 deep breaths hovering. Keep chin tucked, crown long. And let it relax. These tissues should eventually get the root of that, and we should feel less up front. We'll come back up with our rectangle, spin through center, come down into our shin box on the other side. Now this heel is going to reach to this back wall. I'm going to outline my knee with my elbows here. I'm going to fossilize my trunk, keep my ears, shoulder, hip all in one straight line. And I'm going to do 3 pumps here. Again, not letting this happen. So I'm keeping this all nice and straight, fossil statue. Now that I've done my 3rd pump, I'm going to hold it there for 3 more inhale, exhales. Every exhale, I try to get my heel closer to the wall to my right here. If it doesn't move, that's okay. Just get the contraction in the glute muscles higher and higher. 1 more. It should be fully contracted here. Now we're going to do the float on the next exhale for 3 breaths. 3 more. Crown long. This is my hard side. One side will always feel different. 1 more. Lift that whole unit. push your other leg down into the floor and come out. Keep your rectangle, come up to our tall sitting. So now we're going to get into the arch work, and we're going to take it from low gait arch work to standing. So I'll have you get into this position, which is what I call just low split kneeling. And what you're going to do, and I'm going to get close to the camera for this, closer, is you want the ball of the little toe, ball of the big toe, and the heel making a tripod into the floor. So I want all three of those points to remain in the floor through the rest of this flow. Anytime your foot is on the ground, those points should be intact for most of the time. So pick the toes up initially, and you'll notice that the arch comes up, and pin those 3 points into the floor. And then lower the toes, try to keep the arch up. Imagine you had a knife under your arch, and if your arch fell like that, it'd get stabbed. So keep that arch up, ball the big toe, ball the little toe down. From this position, just hold that arch up and the tripod down, and we're just gonna wave the knee back and forth, keeping a contraction to some degree in the foot. You wanna keep those points down as you move your leg back and forth. Notice when it goes this way, it wants to pick up the ball of the little toe. I'm gonna try not to let that happen, which will stretch the outside of the leg. And when I go this way, it's gonna try to lift this up, but I'm gonna keep the ball of the big toe down as my knee goes wide, which is gonna stretch the inside of my leg. This helps a lot with runners' shin splints as well. Heel doesn't come up. I'm gonna move to the side, and we're just gonna wave 3 times per side, keeping all 3 points down. 1 as far as I can this way, 1 as far as I can that way. Feel free to move up here, but try not to. This way again, this way again. Both toes on the ground. This way again, you might get some popping. Keep that heel down. Last round. This way and this way. Go very slow with these and pay attention to the points. We'll switch this leg back over here. Ball the big toe down, ball the little toe down, heel. You can even post up over here with an arm and just go out as wide as you can, in as much as you can. I actually like this lean away because I can get more motion from this hip. If I'm up here, this hip is more cluttered. If I'm back here, it feels a little better. So take a post arm, do 3 waves each side, keeping all 3 points under the foot down. Don't let them come up. Keep them down. 3 waves each side, make sure you're still breathing. Stay very rigid through here, try not to move. And after 3 each side, we'll keep that tripod down, we'll tuck this back foot under us, and I want you to practice coming up into split standing with that tripod staying down. And it'll come back down. I'll give you another angle. The back toes are like this. Front tripod's down, arches up. Toes try to relax. If they need to come up off the ground, they can. And it'll be a little bit of a balancing act. And we'll do 5 each side. Stay close to a wall if you need a balance, or have a yardstick or something. Very tough to balance here. But again, when it gets tough to balance, make sure that that tripod stays in the ground. And come up and down. And we switch sides, tuck that back leg, find your tripod, pull it, push it to the floor. 5 on this side. This side's a little easier for me to balance. 5 motions. Ooh, spoke too soon. Now, once you're up to standing, pull this guy. We'll go wide with our feet, and we're hinging just like this. So the hips go back, the box is adjusted, hand goes down, palm down. We want the hips to go back, the crown to stay forward, so eventually we flatten the spine like so. So ear, shoulder to hip, all one straight line. When we come up into our rotation, we don't want to see the hips rotate. So if I had a glass of wine right on the tailbone, you wouldn't want that glass of wine to fall left or right during the rotations. So hips back, spine nice and long and straight. Trace up the arm, coming into a twist that again doesn't pull the hips. The legs don't move, the pelvis doesn't move. Consider them a statue. And from here down, this way, you don't move. So from here to there, no movement. And all we're doing is twisting the mid-spine into a nice rotation. And we'll do 3 breaths at the top of the rotation, and on every exhale, we'll go further into the rotation. Feel free to dip the hips back further. Not too much weight in this hand here, and no clutter in the neck, so we want to keep some space. This might be a little too tall for me. And back down. I'm going to turn the camera so you can see this side. Again, this might be a little too, that might be a better height for me. So now my left hand goes down. If you need to go a little wider with the stance, you can. Big nasal inhale, clear the shoulders. Only twisting the mid-spine, not twisting the hips. So again, 3 deep breaths, furthering the exhales. Only twisting through here. And back down. So 3 deep breaths each side. You could go ahead and do 2 or 3 rounds of anything I've shown you up to this point. But overall, that should be 1 flow, about 15 minutes. And then 2 of those would be 30 minutes. So on days we have more time, you could do 2. Again, if anything's feeling really good that morning or whenever you're doing it, just do a few more of it if you want to. Pause the video or learn the video so intuitively that you can kind of change bits and pieces of it as you progress.